Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Javier and I wanted to share with you how I document my software projects. It is a simple process in which I use LLMs and mkdocs. Let's go for it! In this video I will use a documentation guideline, and also as an example I will generate the documentation for the LLM code repository. I will leave all the links on the description of the video, so you can go directly to this guideline if you are familiar with these concepts and start to build the documentation now. Okay, but if you want to follow this video, let's go. Here you need the Python greater than or equal 3.7 version and also the Python package manager you prefer. I use pip here, but you could also use Poetry or whatever you prefer. First of all, you need to install these dependencies, and after it you should create the docs folder and the mkdocs file at the root level of your project. Okay, in the docs folder you can include an assets folder that include the logo and some other images you will use in the documentation. The reference folder will be automatically generated using your Python Docstrings, and this will be generated using this script that later we will copy and paste, and I will tell you what to modify. Also, the index.md page is the convention name used for your home page of the documentation. Also, these are other custom pages that you could create to explain your sections of your project and so on. Okay, so let's go to the editor. Here I can show you the mkdocs.yml file, in which I include the site name, okay, the theme, that is material. In this case I prefer it because it is very aesthetic, and also the logo and favicon. Moreover, you include some plugins, the mkdocs for Python, okay, that will be used to automatically generate the reference, and some options that you can try out, okay, you can change them, you can see how the visualization is and so on. We will later show you how it is influenced. And also the navigation, okay, the navigation is the index, the structure of your project. Here I include a home page, an installation page, a usage page, a customization, and also a reference. Okay, this reference will be generated later using the Python Docstrings. And here I have this docs folder that mimics this structure here. So now it's time to generate the Python Docstrings if you haven't already generated them. This is sometimes a very boring process in which you have to invest a lot of time, so I always recommend to use AI models as a first version of your Python Docstrings and then refine and review them to save time. You could use any software you want, like GitHub Copilot or any code editor with integrated AI functionalities like Cursor, but in my case I use LLM code that is very simple. You only need to specify the path of your project and it will automatically detect all the Python scripts and generate the docstrings for them. So I have it already installed. I will not lose time. I will leave the link in the description. But let's go to the usage section. Here, if we use the default model, that is an OpenAI model, we need to export the API key for the OpenAI model. However, you could use any other API that you want. It is explained here in the custom completion section. But let's focus on the standard setting for this video. And after it is exported, you can use this command, this very simple, to document all your repository. Let's go to the editor. So I will generate the docstrings, the missing docstrings for the LLM code project using itself. Okay, so let's see, for example, this function in which there is no docstring. I will generate them autonomously, and I will do it here in the root folder of my repository. First of all, I need to export my OpenAI API key. And after it, I can use this command docu dot, and also if you want to exclude some directories, for example, I will exclude the test directories for the documentation, you can do it. And the process starts. It is very fast because this repository is relatively small, so we can wait until it is done. And once we finish, the docstrings will be generated for our project, okay? So let's wait. And now it is done. So we can see, for example, if we open the compilation scripts, here the docstring has been generated. It is not properly indexed, but when I save the script, I have the black formatter configured, so it automatically indexes me the docstring properly, also for this function and all the classes. That's all. Okay, so now that we have already generated our Python docstrings, it's time to automatically generate our reference for the documentation. For this, we are going to use a script that is in the guideline, okay, here, and we are going to download it and paste it into the scripts folder. And here we only need to change the package name if you follow this structure. If not, just make sure that the reference there is the docs reference folder, okay? So a subfolder here inside docs. But in our project, the package name is LLM code, that is the subfolder name also here. And let's copy paste it here. And now we just need to execute this script. So let's do it. It's that simple. Now our reference is automatically generated. As you can see, here a reference folder has been created with all the models of our project, okay? So is here the model docstring and also the reference for the other files. As you can see here, you can copy and paste it in the navigation as the structure of the reference. And now that we have pasted here, it's time to see our documentation. So let's go with this command mkdocs.yml and click here to see the magic. And that's all. Here it is, our documentation. So we have the home folder, that is the index.md, some custom pages that we have manually done, and the most important part, the automatically generated reference. So let's see, for example, the auxiliary model that contains two functions, and here they are specified with all the parameters, return types, and also the source code. It is pretty cool, right? And very simple. Let's finish with the deployment. Here we can consider two options, that is, to manually update the documentation each time we change something of our repo, or to create a GitHub action, okay? So that each time we push to the main branch, the documentation is automatically updated. We are going to take this option, okay? So we need to copy this and paste it here. I have created a workflow here named deploy mkdocs.yml. I have already pasted it here. Okay, so I'm going to paste it here. And then we need to push this change or other changes, and it automatically deploy our documentation to GitHub. But first, it is important to configure some things in your repo. The first one is here in the actions. If you click to general, you need to give read and write permissions to your GitHub token. Okay, this is very important to allow it to generate your documentation and deploy it. So you click here in save, and now we are ready to commit this. Updated action, commit, and now it's ready. You can see here that the action is taking place. I have another action here for the test, but the documentation action is being executed. The page is being deployed, and now it's done. Only is one step left, that is to configure the pages here. So here we need to deploy from a branch, okay? And the GitHub Pages branch has been automatically created with the action. Here, and click Save. And that's all. Now we are ready to see our documentation. Here I click this link and it is already deployed. So we can see all the pages that we have designed here, and especially the automatically generated reference. Click them, we can view the code, and that's all. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing. Also, feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts or questions. See you in the next video.